Good afternoon again. Welcome to Heartwood Turning in the stable studio. Got my tea. Set that over there just for a minute. Let's have a look at the piece of wood. I've got lots of this, which is construction timber. It's just pine. And this piece was used on the bed of a lorry to separate concrete slabs. Basically, that's what that was. So let's head over to the lathe. I'll go over here. There it's on the overhead. But before we go any further, let's introduce can we just change colour a minute? Let's introduce my earworms today. We've got Pete from Twisted Trees, and we've got Terry
everyone.
from TJ Turning.
Afternoon, everybody.
My two favourite earworms who
Welcome aboard.
Who never give me any abuse or are bad to me or give
No,
me
none at all.
give me wrong advice or never happens.
Never, no.
Don't we get a double tenon
So there may be
Double tenon
the
with a mortise inside it.
with the moors in the middle?
double tenon with a mortise, yeah. We've tried that once before. It's not happening again. So let's go back to the overhead. Put you in the background. Bye, guys. So you just want to look at, you don't even want to look at me, you just want to look at the piece of wood there it is. So this piece of wood, let's see, it's 3 inches across. Tape measure 75 by 75, yeah, 75 by 75 by 160. But we're not going to use all that. So first things first, we need to get this rounded off. So we'll start by squaring up, getting a little square and a pencil, and we'll just find the center. If I can stop dropping it down between the bedways, it'll be fine.
In the meantime, I'll read out in July.
Yeah, go ahead. I tend to do this in all 4 corners.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Pete Twisted Trees is in first of all. Look at that. Closely followed by Brian El Tonero de Madeira. And then me. Returnings by Barry. Tommy's Workshop, Roger Kent. Chris Dodds.
Step drive center. Step life center.
Yeah. Clint at Wood Dancers is in. Brent Beecroft is in. Amy DeAngelis is in. Hello, Amy. Todd at Glencoe Woodworks. Quickly moving down the line. Andrew Wyvern said. Mark Whittington. Hodge Woodworks. Robert.
Mark Whittington. Is that a new name?
It may be.
No, he's
Paul Hood and the Grecian Turner's in. Roy's the boy is in. Swiftly moving down, the Yorkshire Get is in. Hello from Kentucky, says Glynis.
Oh, he's all the way from Kentucky.
Okay, sober Kentucky.
Is he up early or is he not gone to bed yet?
Probably not gone to bed.
Not gone to bed yet.
He hasn't finished his margaritas. Larry Exon is in. And that so far is your
welcome along, everybody. Thank you very much for coming in. We're making bud vases with a Grecian theme.
Grecian urn types.
So there was a comment on a live not so long ago. Someone seen one in the background that had a couple of practice pieces I had made earlier. So I thought I would just show you how to make it. So we're going to rough this out first. And we're going to use this beastie, an inch and what is it, 32 mil?
Yeah.
An inch and a quarter, double sorbet. Spindle rough and gouge. And I'm going to use this to protect my face.
Ward Wilson is in from Arizona, west coast of Arizona, and Glenn is eating breakfast.
So let's just screw this up nice and tight, make sure everything's locked up. Locked up there, locked up there, locked up there. Step away from the lathe, turn the speed on, and crank the speed up. So it's in spindle orientation, so we can afford to crank the speed way up. So that's about 1800 revs. And we're going to start in the middle and work towards the end. So we're observing the correct method of cutting. Downhill cutting. And at this stage, speed is your friend because you're cutting a lot of air. And until you get down to nearly a circle, you can hear the noise it makes. And then we'll go the
She
other
says it
direction.
was Susie that spotted the vase. I think she's right.
Yeah.
All right, Susie.
Paul Kavanagh's just joined us. Howdy, Paul. Paul Kavanagh is Ultra Clean Workshop.
Paul Kavanagh's in.
Yep.
Did you say?
Yep.
Hi, Paul. How's the workshop clean-up coming?
I noticed it was about, I think it must have been 2 foot square space I saw on a table that he could probably put something else on.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's probably put something on there by now.
But yeah,
I would think so.
Clive Rogerson's in. Hello, Clive.
And if you just run your tool across the top of that, making sure it's not getting caught on it, show you that from that angle. And you'll know if it's nearly round. There's a little bounce there, so we're not quite round. So I'm going to take the cup from one side to the other now.
Yeah, he served that space. He bought a sublimation setup this week.
Ah, right, okay. That's that finished then.
Much better.
I haven't checked the auction today, Amy.
So when
He's
you're
probably
roughing
still the
things
same.
out, it's not quite round yet. There's a tiny little flat there. When you're roughing things out, if you make sure that your tool rest is parallel to the bedways, so I'm kind of looking down through there now. Go the overhead. Looking down through here. Line the two ends up. There. So if I put the tool on there now and use my finger along the bottom of the tool rest, that should give me a straight cylinder. As long as I keep the tool angle the same position all the time and just work it straight across. So we've got a tiny little flat just, where is it? I've lost it now. Just there. So we'll turn the left back on and we'll just get rid of that flat.
For some reason, that piece of timber is burnt out, you know. White.
Hold on a minute, I'll maybe try and change cameras then. We'll go to the Brian's eye view camera. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. A bit wobbly, but
Once it stops wobbling, it'll be fine. There you go.
And I'll just show you that camera one more, show you that cut one more time. Making sure we've got good bevel contact. Keeping the tool at the same angle all the way across.
Brian Green is in.
And all I'm doing is shift my weight from my right foot to my left foot. That's all I'm doing.
Greenhaven Creations, and Malcolm Douglas is joining us. Welcome.
So there we go. If we measure that now, that should be pretty much the same all the way across. Will I measure it? What do you think?
I just checked the auction, Amy. It's still at 31 quid, but there are 16 people watching it, and there's been 200 and something odd views. So that's hopefully 200 people that know about Steve's auction on Friday.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much the same all the way across, so roughly about 70 mils. We've lost 5 mil off the side of that, which is good. Next thing I need to do is make a tenon, and I've already got a set of calipers preset for the tenon size that I need. So we'll just set them there off the bedways. And I like to use this little tool, which is my 10 mil beading implant tool.
Chris Dodd says he became a Yorkshire Grit user today.
Ah, well done, Chris.
Finally reached you.
So the correct way to use this tool is not to put it in horizontal and start scraping. It's get the bevel on the thing and actually push it down. Where can I show you that better? There. So we can get that angle, and then we just work it down towards the middle. So the tool comes from there and then in, not straight in. If you push it straight in, you just get lots of tear out.
Basically, you're peeling off
Yep.
the circles of timber.
Just like that. Make that slightly bigger. Now we're getting close.
Jim Matthews has joined us.
We'll just check, see where that is, see how close we are. Yeah, we've got a bit to go yet. Hi, Jim. I could maybe move this Brian's eye view camera over here. Let's put that in there now. There we go. That'll do. Excellent. So that's that piece turned. So that's how you would rough your piece of wood out, guys. Just as simple as that, really. Go to the overhead. There it is. One piece of wood roughed out with a tenon on one end to fit in the chuck. So let's get rid of these.
We'll do the other one,
That
or
is for
do
the record power chuck, isn't it? With the tooth rather than the tail.
Yeah, that's a straight tenon, and I'll show you the jaws in a second. In fact, I'll just show you one of the jaws right now.
Gerard, the French turner's in. Gerard.
If I can find a set of record power jaws that are not attached to a chuck. I'm sure I can, you know. I knew I could. There we go. Here's a set of standard record power jaws here. So if we go to that, let's go back to this camera. There. So if I show you that, there,
You're a little close
there's,
to it.
there's the little beak on that edge.
You're a little bit
So
close
this-
to it, so it's better focus.
There, is that better?
That's good.
That's better. That's better. That's better.
So you can see that little bird's beak just on the edge of that jaw there. It's just right here. This edge is straight, so it's parallel 90 degrees from the bottom of the jaw on out. So that's a straight edge. The outside edge is dovetailed if you were doing a mortise, but for a tanning you just want it straight. And this bird's beak bit just grips into the timber. You'll see that in a minute.
Stephen Gordon has joined us.
Hi, Stephen. Welcome along. So if I just get rid of the, I'll go back to, oh, sorry guys, I meant to move that. I meant to do that, change the camera before I moved it. So I'll just change the,
Are you tenon the other one? You said you're going to do two.
Yeah, I've got two, but. So I did a bit of preparation earlier, and here's the two blanks we're going to use today.
I
these are
made
ready.
Brian turn that square to a
He
and
made
didn't he half moan about it? He went
He
on
did. He
and on and
whinged
on.
and whined and whinged and whined. Like, oh, woman.
So I'm going to use a record pair SC2 chuck. So this is a little 2-inch chuck that I love to use for small stuff. And the only little
Drawback.
nagging thing or drawback about this little chuck is this stupid key.
Hugh from Wouldn't It Be Nice is in. Hello, Hugh.
Hi, Hugh. Nice video this morning, buddy.
Yeah, I caught that one this morning.
Nice pen you turned. Or pens.
Woodworm Paul has just joined us as well.
So that's that nice and tight as well. And I'm just going to use a ring center just on the end of it just for now. Just to give it a little bit of support as well. So that's that in. Lift my tool rest up a little bit.
That camera is really burning out that timber.
Is it?
See it? Yeah, you just can't see it. It's just pure white.
Can I do
Is the
something?
light behind or in front of that camera?
It's the lights are all behind the cameras.
Yeah, it's just
Let me see. Can I do something?
it's really burning out. It's just a shame, really, because you won't be able to see your cuts. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Most of the cuts you'll be seeing in that other camera.
Rex B's in. The Rex.
Why can't I not get it to move? How's that, Terry?
It's a bit better. A bit more.
Bit more?
It might be the con.
All about that. I've just. Oh, that's too dark now. Surely.
Yeah, it's a bit too dark. About there. That'll do.
Right
I
there.
can see a grain pattern there. That's fine.
But we're going to be using the other camera, Brian's eye view camera, most of the time anyway. So I just wanted to let you see that getting set up in the chuck. So we'll go back to the Brian's eye view camera.
Brian's eye view.
I don't know why it keeps doing that. It keeps unwinding itself for some reason. There we go.
Irish contingent are all talking about the little show in Dublin.
The Irish.
Yeah. They all going? You going, Brian?
Yep, I'm
There
going
are
to go down.
Paul Kavanagh and Paul Dowling. All going to be there on the 5th.
They're all going there, Brian. You got to be there.
I am thinking of going down 2 days.
Oh,
Let's have a look at that camera.
stay in the most
That better?
posh hotel. Eh? That's better. It's a bit close.
No, I'm just going to drive.
Focus,
That should be okay there.
No, it's not focusing very well.
It's not
Too
focused.
close.
Turn
Too
on
close.
autofocus, put your hand there, then turn it off again.
Oh, this is a whole lot of autofocus and stuff. What's that about?
Well, it's just that you might be too close. That depth of it's too close to focus.
Oh,
You're at the,
I'll
over
try,
your
I'll
focus
try-
distance.
I'll try and fix that. One can but try. How about that? How
You
better?
didn't actually move the camera; just moved the zoom, didn't you? Got to
No,
move physically.
no,
Move the camera.
no, I didn't. Like, can you see that now? Is that okay?
It's soft focused. Is that right?
It's
It's all
soft
soft.
focus, but it's there.
Yeah.
You're being a
Rex
Got
B
a flicker
saying,
on it as well.
Rex B saying, does Brian's quill have on the tailstock have a digital gauge? It
How about
does.
How about that?
508, Rex.
How better?
That's a bit better. That's better.
That's better.
Are you
Still
happy now?
Still soft focus, but better, yeah.
Oh, honest goodness, you guys are so pokey.
Well, it's better to be a further away and zoom it in because the focus distance is that jump to win.
But you can't do that because his shoulder will be in the picture.
I can take it a bit further away yet.
Just
No.
move the camera away,
These are a pain.
then zoom in. You keep the focus in.
How about that?
Now that's focusing.
How about that? How better?
Better. It's better.
You happy now?
I'm happy now.
God, that was a job and a half, guys, wasn't it?
Yes, Rex is it is a digital readout for the depth. You can set it to 0 whenever
This one here. This thing here. Yeah. There you
All
go.
the Axminster 508s come with
0.
one.
Robert said we liked it the other way. Can you change it back again?
Yeah, no.
Suck it. Robert, you're not in charge. Time out for Robert.
So that's my no cut line that Pete keeps shouting at me about.
Which
And
you
now I'm going to
invariably
make
tend to cut.
I'm going to make a mark about there somewhere for the base, and then about here somewhere for the top. And it's just a simple matter of shaping now. So I'm going to use a spindle gauge just to shape this. And I'm going to start from here, using the correct technique of cutting downhill.
As from Real Simple Things is in, so is Benjamin. Both.
So we're just taking this down. That gives us the idea. And now we can work backwards along the form.
Robert said, I thought that digital gauge monitored Brian's blood pressure so he knows when Terry is stressing him out too much.
Terry never stresses me
Never stress about Robert.
because I don't listen really. So I want to show you this technique, the little technique I'm using to get this cut. So picking up the cut there, and all we're doing is rotating our hips and changing the weight from left to right foot. So if I go to that camera, you'll see that. So the tool's engaged there. And then weight's all on my right foot. My right hip is close to the lathe. Pick up the cut. And then I'm just going to transfer my weight. And as I'm transferring my weight, I'm pulling my right hip away from the lathe.
Christine and Michael Esseltine are in. both.
Show you that again from here.
Rex B's got a question. He says, "Is he making a teacup for an elf?" No.
So
Making
just
an
take that in a bit more
urn.
and round that up a bit more.
Basically,
And
like a
that's
bud
as far as I want to go in there for now, because I have to do a little bit of hollowing. Let's have a quick look at that and see what that looks like. I would love to use the handle on this lathe to stop the lathe from turning, but when you do, your hands get covered in aluminium dust. So that's not too bad a finish, just off the tool there. So let's start with the up here to get the neck shape. Now, the little Grecian vases that I make have kind of got a fairly sharp edge and a sharp shoulder on them.
Steve from SK Crafts has joined us.
Hi,
Hello,
Steve.
Steve.
So again, I'm just using the same sort of technique, but for this, for a cove this time, instead of rotating my hips in one direction, I'm rotating them in the other direction. So engage the cut there, and then all I'm doing is rotating my right hip towards the lathe.
Basford's got a question. He says, "Is there a way to realign the centers? He's noticed that his are significantly out of alignment."
Yes.
Okay,
What kind
does
of
it
lathe
have
have
a
you got, Baz?
swivel head?
If you got a swivel head, Baz, you need one of those. You need a 2 times MT, whatever your lathe is. That's 2 MT2s. So unlock everything, put it in the headstock, bring up your tailstock, and then that'll automatically align it together, and then lock
And
up
tighten down.
everything. I'll show you that at the end if you really want that, but that's the best way that I know to do it.
If it's misaligned up vertically, it could well be that you got shavings stuck under the
Yes.
tailstock of the headstock.
Yeah.
But that's certainly do it for that direction. But up and down, you need to think about, I don't know how you would do that. How do you do that, Derek?
Well, if you've got movable headstock, then you move it down the lathe bed, clean underneath
Yeah.
it, slide it back up, clean where it was just moved down to, and then slide it up and down that bit a couple of times just to make sure you sort of move any dust out from underneath it. Then that will go down tight.
I'm just going to bring this down, this shoulder back down a little bit. So I'm presenting the bevel exactly where I want the tool to go. And I'm just bringing that out a little bit so there's a little bit of an angle on it. Take it on in there. And then go back up here and bring that in a bit more.
Just one slight observation, Brian.
Yes?
I made you cut that shape on something once, and you moaned like hell
He
whilst I was
did. He
telling you to do
whinged
it.
and
Oh, this,
he
this,
always
this,
whinges and
this
whines.
sharp shoulder, is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did actually.
No, he
Because
loves it.
At that time I liked slopey shoulders, but I don't anymore.
See how easy lead is?
So I can just take this off, make this a little bit narrower. And it doesn't really matter because it's not a finishing cut, so we're just nipping it down a bit. I think that's roughly about the right size. Now we'll start to think about cutting it properly. You got to be careful if you're using pine for that because you could easily just shatter a big lump off it. So now we'll take and get a nice shape to the mouth of the vase if you like. A little bit more. That's where your artistic license comes in. You can make that any shape you want.
As Steve says, that's because you're an influencer, Pete. That's why you turned it. You made him turn it.
The transition area between the two cuts is the difficult part to get right.
Benjamin's got a tip for you, Brian.
Yeah.
Spray the lathe handle, the back, with lacquer. Stops you getting aluminiumized.
That's a good idea.
It is. That's why he's just said it.
Yep. It's a very good idea.
And on the
Purposely
question
left
of
that
alignment,
because
Flint at Wood Dancers has said use a cone-shaped live centre, run it into the taper and knock the headstock. Yeah,
Yep.
that works.
That works.
that
Or
works
if
as
you
well. Yeah.
a point in either end, headstock and tailstock, you can just bring them up and align them by eye. But the easiest way is, as Brian says, with the double-ended Morse taper.
So now I'm going to drill a hole in this, and I'm going to use my spindle gauge just to drill the hole. Let me just move this camera around a bit. Do it right there somewhere.
Are you going to square it off first?
I'm going to drill the hole first. So your tool needs to be bang in the middle, dead on center, which it is there. So we'll turn the speed down a little bit, but not a huge amount. And we'll just go plunge that in. Pull it back out again. And again.
You've been playing with your grinding wheels, Brian.
Sorry?
You've been playing with your grinding wheels.
Why? They're here.
Yes, spindle
Yeah.
gauge is short.
Yeah, it's getting too short. I've had this one for a long time, guys. It's getting too short. So I've had to make a flat on it so as I can get it in a jig. But I noticed this morning when I went to sharpen it, the handle is now catching on the bottom, so it's about done.
Now's the time to try a micro bevel on it and sharpen it.
And sharpen.
So I've just used a little tool cut there just to widen that out.
Baz has just put in, is it just a case of cracking the bolts to adjust and tighten down again? Yeah, if you don't have a swivel headstock, then a couple of things to
Yeah,
look out for.
basically,
Make
yeah.
sure your lathe bed is square. Get a spirit level on it, run it in both directions, make sure everything's square. Because if your legs aren't square on the floor, it can twist the lathe bed, which will cause a problem.
If it's even slightly twisted, it'll move the centers out. You wonder why you can't get it back.
So yeah, spirit level is a starting point. And then, yeah, crack the bolts, line it all up, tighten it all up again, and away you go.
So that's good there. A little bit of tear out just on the right on the rim of that. We'll be sanding that, and that'll get rid of that. So I'm going to go back to the bottom again now, because that's most of the pressure taken off of that. And we're going to just bring his back around here again. But there's somewhere.
Steve's back to work. He says, have a great day, guys.
All
and
right,
see you all
Steve.
tomorrow."
Enjoy
Steve.
yourself.
Enjoy,
Steve,
mate.
do you want to chuck a link in, mate, or do you want us to do it?
Yeah, we
can't
better
put
do it.
in. I'll let you put it in, Pete. Or
Okay.
Steve,
So I'm just going to refine the shape a little bit here. I think it needs to be a little steeper in there.
It does.
Oops. And I want to leave a little ring just on the bottom here. Or a little bead, should I say, not a ring. So just a little bead just on the bottom there.
Steve says, can you do the link, Pete?
Okay, so the main event tomorrow is the auction on Steve's channel.
Friday night.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
And that's
Make us
basically the
auction
shape I
tomorrow.
want. So we're going to sand this quickly. Bring up the sander. We'll just refine the shape of that lip with the sure that camera's in the best position for you. There we go. Just refine the shape with the sandpaper, and that'll get rid of any tear out. Now, if you're using a more expensive bit of wood, you wouldn't have that tear out.
Joe Senior's in the chat. Good evening, Joe. Afternoon, Joe.
And I haven't turned the speed down any. I'm still running at 1500 reds here, just to get this kind of shape sorted out a little bit. Just at the bottom there. There we go. Let's have a look at that. That's pretty good.
Gerard won't be able to make tomorrow night. He says he's training duties of a new chef to allow him to stop night work, cutting down his hours. Ooh, well done.
Oh, excellent. Not before time, Gerard, I have to say. You've been asking for that for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the, that was 80 grit, guys, just to refine the shape. So we'll go on up to 240. So 120.
Big colour in
And
this,
now,
Brian.
now I'll turn the speed down a bit. Well, we'll see what it looks like, Terry. Sometimes these look very nice, just natural.
Yeah, especially pine.
And then if you've got nice bits of pine and some nice knots or something in it, it can look really nice. That little bead might be too big in the bottom. But we'll get the rest of it sanded up first and we'll see how that goes.
David Heath, Guildford Carpenter's in. Oh, David.
Hi, David. Thank you for coming in. So the job of the 120 grit is to get rid of the sanding marks from the 80 grit. Let's see, has that worked? Just rub it a little bit with the grain. It's quite plain on this side, but it's actually quite nice on that side. So we'll maybe just leave it natural. It should be okay. We've got a bit more to take off the bottom, so we'll not worry about that just quite yet. Oops. Oh, dropped that.
Chris Dodd says you could put a lid on it, Brian, and it could be an urn for a budgie.
You could. Well, that disappeared right down my extractor.
Yeah, lost that one. Go get another one.
That's just a piece of 180 grit, so.
It was used anyway, so the time you got rid of it.
Well, it must have known that, so it just disappeared itself. But had enough of that. I'm out of here. I like to try and make these edges kind of nice and rounded, so as they feel nice to touch.
Steve Gordon's in. He's just come in and said the Prime Minister's resigning.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
I wonder what the record is, whether that's the shortest one or not.
You may well be close to it. Dr. Bob's in. Hello, Bob.
She's no option but go.
No.
Too many mistakes.
Didn't last long, did it? 2 months.
What's the chances of Boris coming back?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. He wants to do a Churchill, 2 terms.
Do you think this has all been pre-planned?
I think it might have been. They didn't like him, but when they've got her, I think he's better option.
So what we're saying is that we've got down to the bottom of the bucket and was crawling through the sludge of the candidates.
Swilling around.
Yep. Yeah. I have a feeling, guys, it's time for a general election. Although at this time, we'll just end up with the Labour Party in power. No matter. I think we need a change. Right. That's that sanded up to 240. I don't think it needs any more sanding. Oh, it doesn't need a bit more sanding.
Steve Gordon says the hinges are red hot on number 10's door. Opening, closing. Good afternoon, Ash at Kitey's Shed.
Hi, Ash. How you doing? Just a little bit of refining on that.
Roy's the boy said, I hope she doesn't get a 4 p.m. pension. I think she will, actually.
Yeah, she will.
If you do a single day of PM, you get the pension.
Yeah. Paul Cavanaugh's having to go. Back to work. Bye, Paul.
Hi, Paul. Catch you later, buddy.
Thanks for coming in, mate. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out.
I should have...
if you like it. If you don't bother.
Should have used my skew on that just to finish that off better, but that'll be fine.
You should have done the whole thing with the skew.
Well, next one, Terry. Next one.
Ooh.
So I'm going to put a little bit of texture around the edge here, just to make it a little bit fancy. So we'll use the Robert Sorby mini texturing tool.
Actually, that grain looks lovely.
It does actually.
Yeah.
So if I just put a little bit of turn the speed away down to 500. Don't be mad now, Brian. About 500-ish is the recommended speed for. There we go. So we're just going to put a little band, about half an inch. So start there, up to about there, go back down again. That should be good, I think.
Brian El Tonero de Madeira says a local firm, door firm, has just been asked to make a revolving door on number 10. Straight in,
So
straight out.
I'm just putting a little line on there, just to, so as I know where the
Groove's going to be.
texturing is.
That's a good tip actually, because on paler woods in particular, it's very hard to see when it's spinning.
Yeah, it is.
So just a little line, so as I can see it now. And I'm just going to use the tip of my skew. And I'm going to use it sharp end in. I know some people have a hairy fit about this, but I just do it anyway.
Yeah, it's lovely. Nothing wrong with that.
And just
Yeah,
let
that's
that
what
bite in
cut
a
I
little
always do
bit.
the same.
Exactly the same. Easiest way of doing it.
And it cuts it rather than scrapes it. If you turn it on its side and try that, it kind of scrapes it. So I
And
wanted it cut.
you could get a bit of tear and you can't get into to sand it, but you don't need to sand it when you do it that way.
No, and even less need to sand it now because I'm going to burn that.
Okay. Oh,
So,
bass.
One
Stay
thing I want
tuned,
to show people, this is Formica, piece of Formica. Now, with Formica, when you heat it and you use it to burn, you get like a rolled edge on it. So as it melts, it kind of rolls over.
Yeah, it is a form of plastic, isn't it?
So what I always do is take a little bit of sandpaper
Sand it off.
and just sharpen that edge again. Just like sharpening a tool, basically. So that's nice sharp edge there now. That we can turn the speed up again. The sharpened edge you just sharpened, more speed. Just put that in there, quickly burn that, and quickly burn that. That's it. And if we look at that there, that's just actually starting to round over already. It doesn't take very much. But again, if I sand it next time, it'll be fine.
It does make a nice burn because you can get a really sharp edge on there. So you get a real
nice
sharp
edge.
thin
So
line if you wanted to.
Next thing you do then is finish, get the foot down to about finished size. So we'll just do that now. I'm just getting down to somewhere near the chuck there. Now I'm going to avoid the chuck. And just come in from here and cut that in using proper technique. And then I'm just going to round that up to that little bead. But I want it concave rather than convex. So just about there. That'll be fine. Take a little bit more off of there. And that's going to be my parting off line in there. I'm going to part it off in there. Next thing we want to do.
White says he uses guitar strings for his burning.
Yep, that's fine too. Nothing wrong with that.
I just use garden wire, just standard galvanized garden wire.
Yep.
Make sure you got handles on them as well.
If you're using wire, make sure you've got handles on. Yeah, that's 100%, Terry. That's a really important thing.
Steve Gordon said laminate is just paper with a resin binder. So yeah, it's sheet of paper with plastic poured over it.
We just give that a little bit of sanding sealer.
Dr. Bob's got a good analogy. He says political problems could be solved by having a good turner in office because they know when the wood is bad to throw it out and start over. Good one.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. So I'm just kind of heating that up again. And just to dry that sanding sealer in a bit and denib any bits. And one thing I forgot to do is give that a little rub with a bit of sandpaper. Let me just check that.
Bit of 400 maybe.
Yeah, I need a little bit of 400 grit there, just on that texture, just denib that a little bit. So I might
Yeah,
have to go
texture in
back.
softwood always causes little fluffy bits, doesn't it?
So just give that a little gentle rub. And that's it fixed. That's it. And we'll just add
Christoph is throwing down a challenge now.
Mhm.
He said, you guys have almost made the Aussie record for PMs. We've got to get some more and get them fired as quick as possible.
Yeah.
We've got to beat the Aussies or something, haven't we?
Just Bob, are you saying that we need to fill Liz with resin? Well, without.
And the next thing I want to do then is going to add some. I think I'll use some copper. Going to add a little bit of this
Bronze.
Hampshire Sheen embellishing wax paste. So
Bronze,
use
not
copper.
copper.
Use copper here, and I'm going to put it on with a brush. Oops.
Carefully.
Yeah, and what I want to do is fill the texture, but not anything else. So I'm basically just rubbing it into the texture. There will be some on the top, but we'll get rid of that in a minute. So we're filling up the texture marks rather than doing the whole piece. And the bottom lines help as well because it stops it kind of spreading if you make a little mistake.
You just knocked your camera.
I think I could turn my extractor off now, couldn't I? You couldn't hear it, but it was whirring away in the background there. Burning electricity.
Yeah, we couldn't hear it, so we didn't know it was on.
At 38 pence a unit.
So we couldn't tell you.
I know.
Turn the lights off as well, save some electric.
Oh, well, that might, that's maybe a step too far, Terry.
And the computer.
What are you trying to say, Terry? You should want me to go away, is that what you're trying to say?
No, just sort of save you some money, right?
Thanks, Terry. Appreciate you being so humble. Get. So now we just go turn the speed up again. And first thing we'll do is get a nice thin piece and just take the excess off the top like that.
Trying not to rub past the burn lines.
Yep. So there we go.
Chris Dodd says you should pretend you're doing your eyelids, Brian. Perfect.
I do my eyelids. Right. Last but not least, a little bit of Hampshire Sheen high gloss wax.
Benjamin would like to know what the name, the make and name of that ugly grey paint you used.
The grey paint. That ugly grey paint. Did he actually say ugly grey paint?
He did.
The grey paint
I'm
is
quoting.
it's Halford's. It's not like you to quote though, Terry. You usually just make things up as you go along.
No, that's what he said.
So the grey paint is Halford's spray undercoat.
Michael McEwen's just joined us. Hello, Michael.
It's a mid-grey colour, which helps the cameras. It's designed to help.
Christoph just said, Ben, which of the 50 Shades?
Just give this a quick buff up now.
Robert Hodgepodge says, seeing you're turning from your view really lets us know how much practice you need when applying that wax.
This is true. Get rid of that. Bring that back in and we'll part this off using a Robert Shoresby parting tool. How many tools have I used today so far, Pete?
Oh.
Enough?
Not enough.
Not enough yet. Okay.
But you've got to justify having them all. Although Michelle's not in the chat, so I shouldn't worry too much.
Oh, she's at work today.
Oh, well, there you go.
Brian,
Yes, mate.
No, I know what the instructions say, but turn out with it. Turn it over. That's it.
That's it.
See, the instructions tell you to do it that way.
No,
Yeah, they're wrong.
do it. They're wrong. Do it the other way.
But if I do it that way, it actually works much easier. So now I'm going to try and come in a little bit just to widen that cut up.
And do you know why it works better that way, Brian?
Yeah, because the chippers could come out the little groove.
Also, if you look at the way the angle it goes in, there's a bevel then cut in, so you're slicing the wood and not paring it off, just straight in.
The last tool I'm going to use on this today, a little bit of paper stuck on it,
It's a saw.
is a saw. This little saw. Just to cut that off.
Terry Bartlett's in. Hello, Terry.
Yep. That's the saw. And now I need to change chucks.
Robert said he's never seen it used the other way. The instructions that come with it tell you to use it with the flute downwards.
You do.
There's
And it's a torture.
there's actually very little difference in the finish of the cut, but it's slightly easier with the flute upwards, and also you're not blunting the flute on the tool rest. So
Christian Bailey Woodworks has just joined us, as is Louise Shed. Hello, both.
So we're just going to sand the bottom now.
Ben said, I use it on its side. I was wondering why it didn't cut.
Yeah.
Sounds about right for Ben. Now, if I was making these to sell, other than just showing them off on here, I would be taking a whole lot more time to get that sanded correctly. And I would take it up to about 240 grit.
Dewey
But it
said,
is.
next week Liz Truss will be watching your turn because you won't have a job.
So that's that done. Now, get that chuck back out of that. If I can't, get it out. It never comes out when you want it to come out. The nuisance of a thing.
The chuck can't give it a whack.
Yeah, the problem is the chuck you can't
key
use the
could
chuck
snap it.
key to take it out. It doesn't work.
Yeah. You could
What
have
you have
just
to do
get
is
one before.
open the jaws and
You
put
can
it in
that
there
way.
and give it a little tap. And take it out. Put that back up in his chuck buddy. Put that chuck back on. Have we got time to do another one?
Well, it's 10-2, so
Oh,
it's up to you.
Yeah, you got time to do another one.
You got to do another one, of
Right.
course you have. These people are just coming in. They're expecting to
that
see
over
3
there.
hours from you.
No. So let's just tidy up a little bit.
No point tidying up till you've done the next one, so just do the
Chuck
next.
key. Oh, I was just getting rid of some rubbish that was sitting there.
What, you mean the last one you turned?
Yeah, that's the one.
So those who just joined us and didn't see it, Brian is now going to turn an urn as a bud vase.
Well,
Yep.
a Grecian urn style.
Grecian urn style bud vase. Or if, as Dr. Bob says, if you got budgerigars, you can, or whatever it was, set it.
Yeah.
It's an urn
Budgie
for a
will do it.
budgie.
Take that out of the way again. So we're back on here again.
Keep the camera like that, that's good.
Camera's good
So
like
you've
that.
now got 48 watching and only 24 of them have got thumbs.
So if you like what you see,
Fine.
give Brian a thumbs up. Just to
Shoulder.
help his channel out. Make him feel good, even if you don't think it's good. Make him feel good. Go on.
So let's take this out again. Take the bottom bit out. So this is actually setting where the foot is, or the foot is going to be. Just take a little bit out of there.
You did say this one was going to be with the scooches, wasn't you?
Oh, I did, didn't I?
You did. Not that I'm forcing you or influencing you.
Well, I won't do it all with a skew chisel, but I'll try and do the body with a skew chisel.
Just do it till you get the first catch, and then you can go back to the other garage.
Well, the cat's can be called the texturing.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Look, perfect. Notice he's not talking so much, though.
Yeah. Skews
That's
require a
it,
bit more
Terry.
attention.
Skews require attention to detail.
They do
See the
indeed.
nice crisp line you get in the bottom. Then you see,
They do a great cut.
I do.
Amy's off the bed. Good night, Amy.
Good night, Emmy.
I think our clocks get messed up next week, don't they?
Is it? Yeah, it is, isn't it? It goes
Don't they
back.
take a week before us?
Does that mean it's easier for them to see it, or worse?
It'll be worse for until we change our clocks.
Yeah.
Then I'll be back the same again. It's only a week.
It's not, yeah. Roy's always wishes you could have the overhead camera now, but
The overhead cam.
I don't know why. That's it. Show that
Not
one.
bad.
You can see that. Yeah, you can see the tool going in there now.
You can just see the shavings there coming off
Just like dust.
just
flying.
fractionally below the center point of the skew.
Yeah.
Which is a good place for them to be coming off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just using the toe of the skew there just to shape the bottom a little bit. And I want to leave enough there to put a little bead in there. So we'll just do that again. We're just peeling that off. And that'll be able to shape that.
If you're feeling really great, Brian, you can actually use the other, the heel of the skew, and then go in a bit sharper, and then just twist it out to get you concave as well.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So shoulder about here somewhere. So just make some V cuts here.
That. You probably will have to use your spindle gauge to go down that one.
I will definitely have to use my spindle gauge.
But the skew will do a fantastic job with
that cut edge.
straight
Yeah.
edge.
But this cut just over that shoulder.
Yeah.
If I changed my skew just for a minute, just to bring this edge in.
In fact, you wouldn't even have to sand that skew cut, I thought.
This is pine, remember, there might be a little bit.
Yes, it is pine.
Make this a little bit narrower. Let's cut that correctly. There. And then I'll just bring this on in. And then we'll use the skew to make the shoulder. No, don't use that. Use the skew.
Yeah.
So we'll just bring the skew from here. I'm just rubbing the bevel on that edge and just take it on in. And that should just peel that off.
It's not quite visible from the camera, but
yeah.
Was it not?
the skew is not going in straight. You're not driving it as a wedge. You're rubbing the bevel all the way in.
Yeah, so the skew is there. That's the bevel rubbing without contacting it, without actually doing the wood.
But
so
you tip the skew.
at that angle.
You tip the skew slightly like that, just very slightly. So the top of the skew, top where it's cutting, is just off, so you don't get a catch, and you just glide it down through, and it gives you a nice slicing cut. You get a nice crisp corner then, and you get in there.
Let's have a look at that when it's stationary.
It's a piece of bit of.
So that's a much nicer cut across there than it was earlier. If you can actually see it.
Ben wants to know if is that the 1 inch Ashley Isles skew that Steve Jones uses.
No, no, this is a 1 inch Robert Sorby.
Rubber Sorby.
Yeah, that's a square edge one, isn't it? Yeah, shells is a round edge.
I've actually filed the edges just a little bit to make them a little bit round because they were a bit sharp when they first came. So what I might try and do is
Gerard's got to go to lunch. His wife's shouting at him.
okay,
Bye, Gerard.
So I'm just going to use my skew, my small skew, just down in the bottom here to get this.
Okay, it's a good opportunity because Robert says, "Can Brian show what happens if he does get a catch?"
Yeah, no.
You might see that anyway. Give him 10 to get away.
Give me 10. So just bringing that base down to where I need it. Fire off that edge.
Surplus to requirement.
We'll make that a little thinner there.
Concave.
And then try and do this bead here. Is that camera okay for looking at that bead?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm just going to make that a little narrower. And I'll come back down there with the skew again, I think. Robert may get his wish in a minute.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling I have to come back in there again with the skew. I do. And just finish that little bead off. Like that. And then we'll take the skew, point the end of the skew, run up the bevel there, and just run that in there. And get a nice sharp definition line there and there. That should do. Hollowing. We'll do the same kind of hollowing again, just with the finish in there. That's not very tidy, is it?
If you are doing a batch of these, it's just as quick, or it's quicker, in fact. Just run them all down on a drill press if you've got one.
Yeah.
Aye, you could drill the hole out before you start.
Yeah. Drill the blank.
Something causing a bit of bounce in there. I don't know what it is though.
Yeah, not.
If you've got a drill press, you can drill half a dozen or 10, 12 or whatever.
Yep.
And then just knock them out on the lathe.
Yeah. Really nice shaving stone. Coming off the skew.
Now you see that you're going to drill the hole now, Brian.
Yes, mate.
The reason the other one went off center slightly and was wobbling on the.
It's because it was falling into the soft grain.
No, it's because you didn't face it off and you started as it went in, it knocked it. Gradually, so if you face it off,
there's a little dimple in the middle, Terry, for the skew to go in.
I know.
Or for the thing to go in.
I'm arguing.
Kind of put me off my train of thought there, Terry.
Drill the hole.
That's what I'm doing, Terry. That's what I'm doing, Terry. But it's a little bit too high. Just there.
Is it back enough so you're not on the bevel?
Yep.
Good.
I'll emphasize it for you if you like.
Good man, thank you.
Dr. Bob says the skew dates back to Roman days without any major changes.
Does it?
It evolved from early stonemasons' chisels.
Is that you didn't use those in Dr. Bob back then or what? I'm not sure. I know you're getting on a bit.
Just a fraction more. That should do.
Lovely old job. Yep.
That'll be far enough.
Beautiful.
And we'll just do that little pull cut again.
I don't think we've got any novices in, but the reason that's a pull cut is because it's end grain.
Yeah. Gary Glass is in.
Hi,
Gary.
Gary.
History nerd, I think, Bob. History nerd.
Now, if you want to be really posh, you could actually hollow the inside that out if you wanted to. But I'm not gonna.
If it's for a bud, is it worth it?
No, it's not. It's absolutely not worth it. So let's just have a look at that and see how badly done that is. That's actually not too bad. Standing. So we're back to 80 grit again, just to finish off this, and we've got a little bit of a chip on there, but we can afford to make the rim a little bit narrower. So don't panic about the little chip. Extractor on again.
Robert Hodgepodge says he needs to go and buy some dry wheat, buy some dry weeds to stick in these pots for a fair coming up in a couple of weeks.
Why do you need to buy dry weeds? Just go out and get out somewhere and pick some.
Must be a lot of dry weeds where you are, Robert. Tax, isn't it? I think.
So
Everything's dry down there.
Yeah, I find that silk flowers are your best bet.
Yeah.
Stick some silk flowers on, put them out of reach. The colours attract bias.
Yeah, I've got that. I use silk flowers too, Pete. I'll show you them in a minute. Once I finish this one. So as I said, I had a couple of little nicks in the end of here, just where the fibres of the pine have kind of disappeared and fallen out, basically. So we'll just do a little bit of sanding on that edge, and that should fix that. That's fine. Perfect. Everywhere else is pretty good, apart from down there. Little mark there. We'll get rid of that with the 80 grit. And we'll jump straight to 120. Tidy that up a little bit. Now you can make these as fancy or as plain as you want.
They're quick to make, they're attractive looking, so you know.
Yep.
Ideal for fairs, isn't it?
Ideal for little fairs and stuff, and it uses up a whole lot of rubbishy pine. You could use branch wood if you wanted, because it wouldn't matter about the pith either. Because basically, if you piss in the middle, you're drilling it out all the way down to the bottom. So it wouldn't really matter about the pith. But cheap bits of kind of 4x2 construction timber or 3x3, if there is any such a thing as cheap construction timber these days.
You see, Dr. Bob's been around a long time. He says, dry weed? I thought that was for smoking. Or so I've been told. Correct, Bob.
Or so you've been told, yeah.
So,
Listen
yeah.
to you, Dr. Bob. Yeah. We think super text too much there, Bob. That was 120. 180.
Roy, the boys says, it's just said on the news that Liz Truss has resigned. Yeah, Roy, we found that out about an hour ago.
Yeah, where have you been, Roy? She had no option. Absolutely no option. I said that an hour ago too. Well, about half an hour ago. The country is in a bit of a mess, guys. And it's all down to the politicians. I don't trust them as far as I could throw any of them. 240 grit.
On a different subject, my workshop's nearly finished.
Good man, Terry.
The trouble is, it's really difficult to have a revolution at the moment.
Yeah.
You go out and protest, and they change all the people in charge around, and you've got to start again.
Yeah, it's true.
Doesn't affect me much.
Meanwhile,
I do get kind of exercised by these people who go and chain themselves to railings, and well, not chain themselves to railings, but stick their fingers to the tarmac and stuff and disrupt the whole country. I kind of get exercised by those nutcases.
I just said, when I said our workshop's nearly finished, Robert Hodgepodge has just come back and said, just in time for Terry to start running for office. I did have
PM on Friday.
I did have an office, Robert, for 27 years. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but My public life is over now.
He's,
Right.
he don't want to tell you. He did
Well,
serve his country.
you have an office now. Steve
I have
built
an
it for
office.
you.
I'm sitting in my office now.
So I like to squirt a little bit of sanding sealer down in the bottom and give it a spin up, just so it seals the bottom. Don't know why I do that, but I do anyway. There we go. Give that a quick rub.
But if you have used a bit of branch wood and you've peeled most of the pith away, then that little bit of sanding sealer down in there will just stop
Yeah,
them from cracking on you.
just kind of hold the. Even a little bit of CA glue dropped into the bottom of it
Yeah.
would help too, I think. Right, so a little bit of texturing next. Turn that off a minute. Down a bit. Robert Sorby texturing tool again. I think I'd get that in the right place by now, wouldn't you? Right there. So I'm trying to get the tailstock on the flat piece. The tailstock, the tool
Sure.
rest even.
What's the angle you got it set at? 30, 45 what?
That I have no idea.
Cool.
Terry.
Just one that suits.
It's just a little bit further over than the last little notch on the thing.
Okay.
So it's just whatever you feel like. You can set it to any angle you want. Should do. Doesn't
Roy's
normally
always
take
got a
that
question
much.
for you there, Terry. Did you have a
Did
good look
I?
at that extractor piping? That's the dust spares one that you put the link in for.
Yes, I did.
No.
I've actually got a
Terry's
meter
actually got
length
some.
of it. I already had a meter length, Roy, so I don't need any more.
Certainly cheaper than the way Amazon's selling it, or not Amazon, but Axminster.
Yeah, I actually bought the Axminster one about, must have been, I don't know,
Yeah,
5 years
10 years
ago.
ago.
10 years, something like
So
that.
let's get my little pencil in here just to draw that line back on again, so as I know where I'm going.
Chris Dodds is asking if Terry was the PM for Middle Earth.
Yeah. You'd be surprised what I was, Chris.
Do people not actually know that, Terry? What you used to do?
No.
I think I'll have to tell them then. Turn the speed up again, and let's cut that line again. This is almost like production turning for me, guys.
That's what I said. You said they're never identical. Well, that looks identical to me.
Well, we'll see when we stand them together. If they are identical, it's just a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
It's a happy coincidence, yeah. Because I didn't try to make them identical.
It's actually
Again,
quite
just give that a
hard
little
to not make them identical when you're doing from the same size and shape of blank,
similar size blanket.
same timber. If you're doing a dozen of them, it's very difficult to actually get them all individual. I find out with the Christmas trees, try to make them all different. It's really, really difficult to do.
I have a commission for 8 to 10-inch Christmas trees, a dozen of them,
Yeah.
and I'm really afraid to start the thing. It's a little bit.
So I'm watching quite a few people doing snowmen and Christmas trees at the moment, and I'm quite missing it.
Yeah, no.
Kill mine in
Pete.
March,
No, Pete, no. Pete, no.
so I might have to start cutting next year's now.
Next year's now, yeah. I'll be ready by Christmas.
Just give that a little rub again with that 400 grit.
Do too many
Just
though, Pete, and then you won't have to do any for 2 years. That's the trouble.
That's better now. And a tiny bit of sanding sealer on that, just to seal that bit up.
I would, Terry, because it's hard enough to remember where I put the ones I've made for this year. If I tried to
They're not
do
all
it
in
for
the
2 years, I would get completely confused.
Are they not all in the shop now?
They are now, yeah. But,
There we go. Should do. Spin that back up. Just heat that up a wee bit.
Andy Woodward learners in. Anybody?
What's that?
And Lewis, the Klondike Craftsman, is joining.
Hey, Lewis and Andy. So again, we'll do bronze again just to make it look like we're doing production work. Not.
And his sorry he's late, but he does have a note excusing him.
Wow. That's debatable. Could have been a forged note.
So the texturing band is wider on this one than it is in the other one. So there's one difference. The foot's slightly different too.
And Lewis said he's late because he was writing a note for Andy.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay, Liz. We know
Basically
how
a
difficult it is for you
forged
to get
note
used
then.
to.
Grandma Ruth's in. She's late.
Hi, Ruth.
Looks lovely, Brian, she says.
Thanks, Ruth.
She says sorry she's late. Little Lizzie Toe's been out to lunch.
Oh, aye. Out gallivanting with your friends again. Eh?
Yes.
It's all right for you retired folks. Oh, wait. I'm retired.
If you could colour that from the back, Brian, we could see what you're doing.
Oh, there.
Yes,
There.
better. Yeah.
Sorry, mate. Was my hand in the way?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm just using a brush to make sure it goes down into the grooves. That's all I'm doing. And then we'll run it at kind of high speed to buff off the excess, and that'll help to set the wax that's in there. So, a little piece of thin cloth, just about the right width. Turn the speed on. And we'll just give it a little wipe first to get rid of it. And you see I'm changing the bit of cloth every time. Just bringing it on up.
Just to let Ruth know, my cup's in here if you want to come in and get it.
Oh, listen to you.
And mine's empty as well, Ruth, while you're at it.
Mine's is not empty. I've got tea, Ruth. Don't have to make one for me, pet. And if Terry needs one, can't go and get it himself. And we'll just give that a quick buff up now. There we go. Just keep going till there's nothing coming off. There we go. That's it now.
Excellent.
Last but not least, tiny little bit of Hampshire sheen. My go-to finish. Doesn't need to go anywhere near the texture because the texture's already got wax on it.
Lewis is saying, I'll say hi to Ruth despite the recent vacation decisions.
Oh,
Ooh.
you're in
We're
so
going to
much
go over
trouble.
to Canada and see Lewis, and she's decided to go to the Caribbean instead.
She's going to go somewhere hot instead.
Yeah.
Just
Actually,
give
it's
that a
hot
quick buff
in
up.
September in Canada.
Well, it'll be 20 odd degrees in September, Lewis was saying.
25. Yeah. I said to Elle with it, we just do both. Peter do some extra Mondays.
Well, I don't know about that.
That's not such a good idea. You have to
You're
stop
going to be
trying to
rationed on your holidays now, Terry.
There we go. Last but not least, plot this off. Let's have a look.
Hodgepodge got a serious question.
No,
Find that hard to believe, yeah. He
this
says,
will be our first.
if you wanted to burn a ring, is there a good way to shield the sides you don't want to burn? In other words, you just want to burn the bottom, I suppose. Or is it just turn the sides away afterwards?
Now, Brian did this on a corner bowl he made. He used aluminium tape
I did.
to get a nice crisp line without the burn. And that worked quite well.
I can actually show you that in a moment. So that's that as far as I need to go there. We'll use a little saw just to part it off.
And Roy's got another question. Roy says, if you waxed the outer bits of the wood first, would it prevent the coloured wax spreading into the other bit?
Might. Don't know.
It probably could be, yeah.
You
could be right.
But you've got the same problem either way, because if you go over the edge from the outside with the wax, it will stop the coloured wax from getting into the texture. So you've got a problem one way or the other.
Mm.
Back on.
Dr. Bob says he lives just across the river from Ruby.
He does.
How far? Yeah, across the river. Bob, in your area is probably about 100 miles.
No, it's pretty close actually.
Across the, because I mean, could you go across in a boat?
Could you just nip across, row across in a boat and
Pop over for
pop in
coffee
and see
and go
Ruby for
back
tea?
again?
Don't think he's that close.
I believe there's a bridge.
Robertson, he tried aluminium tape to do that, but it left some of the adhesive,
adhesive.
on wood. Yeah,
Yep, it did indeed.
that's the problem.
But you can get the adhesive off easily with a little bit of cellulose thinners.
I suppose you could cut a thinner line, burn it, and then make the width of the groove that you want to keep the sides clean.
Not there.
That might be the idea.
That's close enough. So we'll go to the overhead camera just for a minute. I'll pop that camera out of the way. Take this off again.
Brian's deliberately turned his picture dark so we could see the timber because it was all washed out with the bright light.
It's not a very good picture now. Let's go to tailstock. That's a better
That's
picture.
better.
That's better.
It's not
That's
like
I'm
a
using the
chuck either.
camcorder, overhead. And man, it never seems to give a really good picture. But then you have to mess about with the settings and stuff in it. So just putting them chucks up on the chuck body.
Brent Beecroft says Ruby only lives 3.5 hours from him, just down the road.
It's just round the corner in Canadian terms, isn't
That's
it?
how spend summer in Canada.
Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4,
I have a
5,
friend who
6.
lives in the middle of America.
9
It takes him
tools.
4 hours to get from his lodge that he lives in to his garage, which is on the highway. His off-road quad bike, so he can get his actual bike out to go down to the local shop.
Camera down a bit, Ron.
Which is
Yeah, I'm going to do that in a
again
minute.
300 miles away to get to the nearest village. We don't have that sort of concept in this country.
No.
If you travel a mile and you don't see a building, then you're very, very, very lost.
Pete was talking about little silk flowers earlier. So if I just drop this camera a fraction, but there somewhere.
Put Maurice in the middle, it'll look rather nice.
Oh, where is Maurice? There he is. Phew. Thought I'd lost Maurice. So there you go, guys. 2 little vases.
Excellent. Well done, Brian.
Real simple little turn.
Space them far enough apart, they'll look the same.
Yeah, well, put one at one end, one at the other end. You'd never know the difference, really.
No.
Bring that one a bit closer so it looks bigger.
Yeah, that's it.
But you can do all sorts of different shapes and designs. So there's another one which has got a shorter neck. There's another one with a big flared. So there you go. A little row of vases, all different because I'm not a production turner.
Look at that.
My guys back in.
See what that woman has just said? She hasn't
woman?
got time to bring me a cup of tea because she's been busy doing the chores that I was supposed to do.
Oh, take that, Terry. I'm so pleased about that. Well done, Ruth. See, that's what you get for.
That's looking very good, Brian.
That's what you get for pushing your luck. There we go, guys. That's that. We're done. Anybody get any questions on what we've done today, or any other general questions? The only thing I want to mention this afternoon is the Makers Auction, which is tomorrow night, guys. This is the last day. So, or the penultimate day before the Makers Auction. Looking forward to that. Make sure everybody's there. Share it out with your friends, families.
Yeah, please come along.
Everybody on your
Here's the link.
Social media pages. Please just put the link in. Share that out to everybody so that we can get as many people there as we can.
As much money as we can for Dementia UK.
Decent money for Dementia UK. Although the current total, we're creeping up. I think it was somewhere over £600 at the minute. So
very good.
And the breaking news breaking news. There's another additional prize for a raffle prize, which will be added, which will be just Steve will announce it at the start of tomorrow night's live, and we'll run a little raffle all the way through the live and draw it right at the very end. And that's something from our good friend Martin Saban Smith. So there you go. If you're interested in that, that's he only joined us today. So Steve will announce that tomorrow night.
Just going to change my camera just so what I've done. Look at that.
Oh, there's the workshop. Look.
Coming on.
Look at wait a minute. I'll stick you up the
full
page.
I'm just going to nip outside and turn the camera over.
Terry on full screen. How can I do that?
There, look. Where are we? Over there.
Oh, no, that's not it.
Top
There's my tool rack team.
Icon.
There we go.
There we go. Look at that.
Go,
the buddy range is up and running. The buddy range is up and running. And just because Roy was asking about that hose, this is what I've done because I had a problem with it. There it is now. Look.
There you go. Flexible hose. Back to the extractors.
Go back to the extractor. And this one will actually then bend where you want.
Perfect. I might actually have to invest in one of those. I think.
There you are.
Anyway, there you
go.
Go
Back in. Switch my camera back again.
All right.
Thank you for that, Brian.
Solo layout. If I can.
Back again.
Exit full screen.
Lewis said, Ruth, it looks like it would be very easy to lock Terry in his office if he gets out alone.
Aye.
There we go. We're back.
There we go.
So we're all back. There you go. So Terry's got his looking nice. I've got a blank wall currently, waiting for some of those gouge buddy holders to come. Steve's sending me some to trial and test and mess about with, and we'll see how they go. Terry and I are testing them for.
I'm still waiting for Steve to print me a wall I can put the Chuck Buddy stuff on.
Yeah, you're missing a wall at the moment.
Pete's run out of space at the moment.
He did mention that he was thinking about rejigging his warehouse a little bit, or his workshop a little bit. So
Yeah,
we'll
I might reverse the way I've got things in the workshop.
Yeah, good.
Got to make sure I've still got plenty of room to use the van, so that's the key thing.
Right, we're coming up on 2:25 guys. I'm done for the day. I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll give you one more look at those little vases. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks to Pete for coming in to help me out, and to Terry. So it's goodbye from them two guys.
Goodbye.
Cheers, everyone.
We get the thumbs up on the way out. See you all Friday at the auction.
Friday night, don't forget.
Please be there.
And we're just